Hello again, YouTubers and Atomic Vinyl Zombies. Today I'm going to carry on with the series I started last year. It's Canadian artists. All these albums are by Canadian artists, and right now I'm in the letter C. And the first artist is the Terri Crawford Band. Now the Terri Crawford Band recorded for RCA, the Canadian division of RCA, in the early 1980s. Now Terri is this girl here, Terri Crawford. This is her husband, Richard Johnson, and these are the band members. Something kind of interesting about the Terri Crawford Band is Richard Johnson apparently is now a member of Parliament, provincial Parliament in Ontario, representing an area somewhere around Muskoka, which is kind of in the middle of the province. This album was recorded in Montreal. There's Terri Crawford doing some high-stepping there in the back cover. This, I believe, is the second album by Terri Crawford. This is what happened when good girls go bad. This is titled Good Girl Gone Bad, so I guess she's already gone bad. I've played this album recently, and it's very much like Pat Benatar kind of music. It's not bad. It's pop music. Crocus. Crocus is an offshoot of the Guess Who. Two members, Greg Lescue and Bill Wallace, after the Guess Who dissolved in the early 1970s. They formed Crocus. This was recorded at Mushroom Studios in Vancouver around 1978. It's very pop, kind of with a light disco beat. It was not a big success here. This fella did have a huge amount of success here in Canada and also enjoyed great success in the United States. Burton Cummings. Now, Burton Cummings was the lead singer of the Guess Who from, I think, around 1966 or 67, up until the Guess Who essentially folded in the early 1970s. It became his band after Randy Bachman left the group. This is Burton Cummings' first solo album, and it was produced by Richard Perry. Now, Burton Cummings' albums sold tremendously. Almost all of them sold tremendously in Canada. So in Canada, from a collector's standpoint, they're virtually worthless. You find them everywhere. Here's the back cover. Recorded in Los Angeles with studio musicians. Now there's Burton's albums. They all follow the same kind of format. There's usually a rocker, a rocker or two. There's a couple of ballads. He redoes an oldie goldie, and he followed that format through, I guess, the 5 or 6 solo albums that he recorded in the late 1970s. My Own Way to Rock. Dream of a Child. This one was produced by Burton Cummings. This album is called Woman Love, and very odd cover. Piano down here looking up between the legs of a woman, which is mildly suggestive, I guess. But and I remember at the time he had some kind of falling out, I think, with a girlfriend or something, and this was like a revenge album or something. It's funny inside. There he is, running across a garden with a woman with a bag over her head. It's kind of bizarre. And apparently he had a falling out with the record company around this time. He was on CBS, Columbia Records, and this album was released in Canada on the Canadian division of Columbia, as opposed to, the main division of Columbia. Burton Cummings' Sweet Love, or Sweet Sweet, sorry. Big hit here in Canada. Now, if there's any Burton Cummings album that I would say is kind of collectible or rare, it's this one here. It's called Burton Cummings' Heart. You hardly ever see this album. It didn't really have much in the way of big hits on it or anything. Interesting cover in the back. There's comic books all over the floor. A couple of reel-to-reel tape recorders. There's liner notes inside. In Canada, I don't know if it's true for the States, but in Canada, CBS Direct, I think they advertised this on television. They put a compilation together, Best of Burton Cummings, double album. You see this quite often here. It's sold massive quantities. Next we have famous Canadian, probably unheard of in the United States, Bobby Curtola. Now, Bobby Curtola was from Port Arthur, Ontario, which is now it's now Thunder Bay. It was Port Arthur and Fort William joined to become Thunder Bay, just around Lake Superior. And Bobby Curtola was Canada's Bobby. Now in the States there was Bobby Rydell, and there was Bobby Vinton, and there was Bobby V, who did put out some really good records. And they were all these kind of cute guys, and Canada had its own Bobby and Bobby Curtola. And I think this is his first album. It's called Hitchhiker. It was recorded around 1960 or 61. What's interesting in the back here, and I'm going to read this to you because it's a little bit funny. It says, "The rapid decline of rock and roll as the sole musical fare of teenagers has created demand by music media for better songs. But since the art of writing good music and lyrics received little encouragement during the long reign of rock, few contemporary composers have acquired the ability to do either. This album presents the work of two of Canada's foremost songwriters who in 1941 were awarded the Governor-General's Gold Medal for Excellence in Musical Composition. Their lyrics and melodies have the simplicity and the charm that are common to all enduring music." Which means these two fellas here, they were hit songwriters here in Canada in 1941. They said the rock era is over, so they're going to write good songs for Bobby Curtola. This album is Meet Bobby Curtola, Mr. Personality. Bobby Curtola also has a YouTube account, and he's uploaded some videos in the past couple of years, I think, of his recent performances. He's still out there. Bobby Curtola, 12 golden hits. And he had many, many hit songs here in Canada in the early 1960s. This is his Greatest Hits Volume 3. Notice his hair. And this is a TV advertised album. It's kind of like a K-Tel album. It's called Curtola's 20 Greatest Hits, and has all his hits on it, and he still has that bad hair. But unfortunately for Bobby, you know, the Beatles in time passed him by, and he became almost terminally cute, which is not an attractive quality. But he was a major star here in Canada in the early 1960s. Thanks for watching.